Michai, Masai, Kaliste, Balehai. Welcome everyone. Welcome to our episode 5 Mahabharata series, Mahabharata Relevance in Modern Day Life. Today in this digital age, cyber security is becoming a niche skill. Many are taking trainings in cyber security, but they're not focusing on the core security principles. So today in this session, we are going to make a case of how Mahabharata teaches those core security concepts, and that can be applied in your cybersecurity as best policies.
Best practice.
And we even dressed up to defend our case. So we are making this case by presenting 8 cybersecurity concepts, and we will also give use cases of Mahabharata and Ramayana, how it will relate.
Right.
Yeah, I'll come back there, right? So what are those 8 cybersecurity concepts we're going to cover today are: the first one is physical or logical security, the second one is perimeter security, third is user education, fourth is drive-by compromise. All these 4 will be covered by one use case. And then the fifth one we are going to cover is identity and access management, which will be covered by one more use case. And we'll have a separate use case for defense in depth and honeypot. And last but not least, about SOC. How can we forget that? Security operations, right? So I hope you'll feel this episode interesting. So let's go dive deep into it. So Sai, do you want to
Now,
start
before
with
I
this?
said that you touched on
yes.
Ramayana, can you please shed some light there?
Yeah, I know we've been talking about Mahabharata, but I think some of you may know, but if you don't know, Ramayana is also covered in Mahabharata, in Vanaprastha, in that parva, where Markandeya sage kind of gives an overview of Ramayana to Yudhishthira and all the Pandavas when they feel so sad, saying that, is there anybody in this world who has gone so many troubles? Like they feel that they have gone through so many troubles, rightfully so, because that few days back Draupadi was Harana. Yeah, Draupadi was also abducted, same like Sita in Ramayana. So that's when sage Markandeya consoles them, saying that, let me tell you a story about Rama, Sita, and he gives details about Ramayana.
So when we say that we are going to take a use case from Ramayana, that's why it is still considered and covered as part of Mahabharata. The first one is well known, Sita's kidnapping, right? Sita was kidnapped by Ravana. But what happened leading to that? Lakshmana, who was with Sita, has to leave to see if the calling person is in fact his brother Rama. But when he leaves, he kind of creates a perimeter of security by drawing what we colloquially know as Lakshmana Rekha, right? That is the perimeter security. But when you don't educate the user of perimeter security, and the user also sometimes with compassion or based on some other user behavior crosses that perimeter security, the security is compromised, right? Sita, just because of her compassion, crosses and gets compromised. This is the kind of a drive-by compromise, right? You go to an unsecure website or you click on something with right intention. Maybe somebody is pleading for donation.
Yeah.
So you need to make sure that how can you take this and apply to modern day cybersecurity is everybody is using a device that has internet connectivity, but you need to make sure that you don't go to untrusted sites. And as a person of knowledge within your family, you should be helping the young and elderly. Even for us, it has to be reminded every time, right? It is not that Sita didn't know her compassion for sadhus. Hey, how can you stay inside and then give me this bhiksha. So that is the kind of pleads that these cyber criminals will make to you to say that, why don't you
Even
come and
Wi-Fi,
click here?
right? When you try to connect in
Wi-Fi,
when you go
people say
outside.
that, oh, free Wi-Fi, and then you go and then use that Wi-Fi and then you get compromised. The second use case is identity and access management. This is from Vali and Sugriva again from Ramayana. But there is also another incident from Mahabharatham, which is Charvaka Rakshasa Samharam. But I'll focus
Parvam, right? Shanti Parvam.
Shanti Parvam. But I don't want to kind of go into the detail there, given that limitation of time.
Yeah.
If we focus on Vali and Sugriva's that fight, Rama, looking at both of them, it's just like two similar user IDs, user 123, user 123. I'm not able to really identify who should I allow access. In this case, who should I kill, who is not the genuine user, right? So that distinction, Rama uses the second factor, right, by putting a garland there. So we all know that when we are using, whether it is
Bank
our
accounts.
email or bank account, we get one-time passwords to our trusted phone or email ID. A lot of people change their phone numbers or email. You need to update your banks, otherwise the banks will end up
Sending
that to and protecting Vali and killing Sugriva. In this case, Rama, if that garland is with Vali, he would have killed Sugriva, right? As simple as that. Not that Rama is that naive, but you need to make sure that you take this lesson and say that how can I not only protect myself and educate people around. The fascinating next story that we both, when we were reading the Garuda Upakyanam, that comes again in Adiparvam, is Garuda goes to bring this Amrutam, but that Amruta Samrakshakas, which is like the cyber security team of the Devatas who are protecting the Amrutam, it's like the most precious asset of the organization, which is the trade secret or the secret sauce of that particular organization, right? They are trying to make sure that it is protected, and there are layers and layers of security that is applied. If we go through it, we'll take another hour, but you need to understand that there is an external perimeter security, there is a layer 7 aware. I'm using a lot of technical jargon, forgive me, but there is an internal firewall, and there is also an encryption, right? Like you allow the entire protocol, there is a kind of churning wheel, but Garuda is able to kind of shrink himself and then go through that. It is like that unblocked port of that UDP, he is able to sneak through that. And there is a honeypot that comes as the next concept, right? Like this is what we are going through in Shanti Parva. This is the Trikalagnana Kakam. So there is this beautiful concept. I'll go through this in little slowly. There is a king. King had his dad and dad's friend, who now is kind of in forest doing his meditation. He comes to know that the king might be in danger because of the internal ministers are so internal threat, right? Like when it comes to the security, we always learn that it is not only external threat, internal threat could be from employees, it could be from suppliers, known and unknown, intentional or unintentional. In this case, most like intentional. So this Rishi will go to this king and say that, king, I would like to present you this crow. This crow knows past, present and future. So ask him anything. So the king says, thank you very much, and puts the crow in a kind of cage and leaves. The next morning comes king, to his surprise, the crow is dead. So in secret, the Rishi will meet with king and say that, king, what just happened proves that there are enemies for you in your own castle. What they are doing is they are trying to secure themselves of the secrets.
They
that
were afraid.
They were afraid
that the crow will find
will find them or will reveal their secret to the king. So what you need to know is this also goes in depth and shares several concepts throughout the Shanti and Anushasanika Parvam, where Bhishma is teaching Dharmaraja at length, in depth, how to protect from internal and external threats.
Yeah.
So there are several security concepts that are introduced. Those are just applied to the digital paradigm. Cyber security is not like rocket science. I shouldn't even say that because that's also touched in Mahabharatham. I don't want to say that this is a concept applied in this kind of a paradigm or in this context. So when you go and read Mahabharatam, read through this lens, understand the core security concepts, then you will really become a cyber security expert, and also these stories will help you understand that core character of that king security person is more important than anything else.
I just want to add one more thing about SOC, the security operation, where in Sabha Parva, where Krishna along with Bhima and Arjuna, they goes to kill Jarasandha, where they are kind of not part of the Jarasandha kingdom, and when they just entered the outer premises of Jarasandha's kingdom, there are lots of alarms
go on.
like drums beat and all. So that's kind of an alarm system which you have as part of your SOC or security operations when you have an internal threat which comes from externally or internally.
Intruder has been detected. Your security incident and event management really blows these alarms, and it goes to this like incident response team or infrastructure team or cyber security. Great example. When we were reading that, we were saying that wow, it was really an automated system.
That's a well thought security thing, even not only from outside and inside. So we just wanted to present. I know we keep on go and go, but I think we want to keep this short and crisp, these videos, and also provide you like teasers of how it gives you an opportunity for you to read Mahabharata. So I hope you felt it's interesting and intriguing, especially the cyber security part of it, where we were able to kind of touch on 8 concepts of cyber security. Like I'll just go through again: the physical and logical security, the perimeter security, 3rd, user education, 4th, the drive-by compromise, the 5th, identity and access management with Charuvaka, Rakshasa, or even the Garuda Upakyana, and defense in depth, where
that is the
Garuda Upakyana, and then honeypot, where we said about Trikala Gyanakakam, and the security operations of Jarasandha. So thank you very much for listening to us. We'll come again with another episode next week.